Welcome to the Dr. Love Show. Dr. Love, you're live.
Hi, my name is Gabby Love, and I am an international matchmaker and love coach based here in New York City. This series of shows came upon when my investor mentors told me it's time to start branding the Dr. Love brand. I'm currently working towards my PhD, and my dissertation is on marital satisfaction and personality types. After 13 episodes, we will be pitched live to television. I thank you, my audience, and Kuj, my producer and director, for participating in this adventure. This episode I'm calling The Secrets of Love. And interestingly enough, Ron Scholar, who was my guest expert, is having technological problems tonight and can't get in as my expert, and he was the whole inspiration for this show. So we will miss him tonight, but I do have the lovely Noreen Sumter, who is a coach here in New York City, and my producer Kuj. So we're gonna go live anyway, right? So I did pull a quote from the Dreams for an Insomniac from 1996. And it said, unless it's mad, passionate, extraordinary love, it's a waste of your time. There are too many mediocre things in life. Love should not be one of them. One thing I am sure we can all agree upon is that a healthy love relationship is never a finished product. It is a lifelong work in progress. This episode of the Dr. Love Show focuses on the secrets of love and the secrets of creating and maintaining an extraordinary love. The first rule of loving should be: one should never allow one's love to become ordinary or boring. Yet, too often, we hear how couples who were once in love have either one, outgrown their love, or two, grow out of love with each other, or three, fell out of love with each other, as if it happened organically. By itself, when no one was looking, or it was a love accident in which there was no one to blame. Love may be one of the most powerful forces in the universe. However, that power does not exist independently of its owner's intentions and actions. All of us who have loved know that the skills and the know-how to keep love alive are not necessarily intuitive or self-sustaining without intelligent effort. Thank you for joining us as we explore some of the most effective secrets of creating and maintaining an extraordinary love life. To help us with this topic, I've invited the gorgeous Noreen and Ron, who can no longer be with us due to technological problems for the evening, and Kuj, my director and producer. Noreen is a personal life coach based here in Manhattan who has been coaching women in New York for the past 10 years. She coaches women into their own voice and speech of their truth and to live life in their own way. Fortunately, Ron's not with us tonight. And we have Kuj, my producer and my director. So let's go on and start with Noreen.
Hello.
Hi, Noreen. How are you tonight?
I am fine. I'm absolutely fine. I had a great day. So I'm ready to play with you.
Well, what I want to ask you, Noreen, I just did an event with Noreen at the Trump Towers a couple of Friday nights ago, and You were so excellent, Noreen, that I just had to have you on the show.
Thank
You
you.
were amazing.
Thank
And
you.
the audience loved you. Everyone loved you. And it was fantastic. I love it. So I have you on here now, and I really want to pick your brain, especially because you do work with a lot of women here in New York City. What I want to know 3 jewels that you can offer our audience tonight as to what are the secrets of love.
What are the secrets of love? Well, Gabby, I'm going to say that there are no secrets. You know, I would say that if I were to say the secret is in your own heart, right? It's like allowing yourself to be authentic. It's allowing yourself to be, you know, because I support women in owning their voice, speaking their truth, and living life their own way. So for me, when I think of love, you said, is one of the most powerful forces on the planet, right? And for me, it's in everything that we do. You love your work. I love my work. We love our families. We love our friends. I love my apartment. I love my street. I love my neighborhood. It's just like, that's just how it is, right? And I get to say how it's going to go for me. So when I think of love, I do not think of there being secrets. I think about there are secrets we tell ourselves about it, right? And some of those secrets are not authentic. Some of those secrets, we actually lock ourselves away from love. And some of us are, when love actually comes knocking, we're so afraid, we put our true selves in the cupboard and we bring out our fake selves, right? Or our inauthentic selves, or ours that we've made up to survive it. So I don't really think there are any secrets, if you get my meaning.
Sure.
Yeah. So 3 secrets to love. If I were to make up 3 secrets, 1, go for it passionately, go for it authentically, and be your true self in it. Yeah, that's what I would say. Passionately, authentically, and like just giving your all. Yeah, that's what I would say about it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Huge. Can we get you in here now? You're my only man for the night.
Shall we sandwich him?
It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it.
I have to toy tonight. So, Coach, let me ask you. You know, you are an empowerment educator in Orlando there. How's the weather, by the way?
Oh, it's beautiful today. About 80 degrees.
Oh, it's gorgeous this time of year in Florida. I wish it was there.
Yeah.
Starting to cool down here in New York. I'm scared to death, actually. But let's talk with you about, you know, the 3 most important secrets that you've discovered with all of your work, with all the different people that you've worked with in this lifetime. What would you say your 3 jewels of secrets of love are?
I thought about that, and there were 3 things that I think are the most valuable advice that I have given people based on the problems they've had in making their love extraordinary. The first one is to bring the peace. And by bringing the peace, what I mean is when we are the deepest in love, we feel, and especially if it's a first love, that it will never end. I think we've all had that feeling. However, as I said on the last show, combat is optional, but conflict is inevitable. And one of the secrets of love is deciding in advance how you're going to resolve that conflict. Because if you're going to resolve conflict peacefully, you have to decide that ahead of time. If you wait till you're in emotional stress, it is likely to be violent or verbally and maybe physically, and possibly you may say things that you can never take back. And you never want to get into that situation where you said something you can never take back. And the only way you can avoid it is to decide not to do it in the first place. So my first thing is bring the peace, to commit to bringing the peace. The second secret, I think, is to bring the light. One of the things that relationships constantly get into is what is called the vicious cycle. We all know how that works. One of us insults another of us. And as a result of being insulted, we feel hurt. And then we insult the other one harder than they insulted us. And they feel hurt. And then they insult us even harder. And you have a downwardly progressing spiral that never ends in a good place. But there's an opposite of that. It's called the virtuous cycle. And it works the same way. You know, you praise a person and they feel good, and then they praise you. But not only do you praise a person, if you're bringing the light, if they do something nice, you do 2 things nice. If they do 3 things nice, you do 4 things nice. It's sort of like, I love you, no, I love you more. If you get yourself in that cycle of loving more, not doing a 1-for-1, when you're nice, I'm nice, when you're toxic, I'm toxic, then you can get yourself into a extraordinary love situation. And I think that's one of the things that keeps people from actually being happy at all.
Interesting. I love that. I really got something out of that. Thank you so much. Is that 1 jewel or was that 3?
I think that was 3.
That was 3.
That was 3 there. Okay. Well, good. Well, thank you. I really got a lot out of that, and I get it. Yes. I think it is better to.
Gabby, let me add one more.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this in the last show. Bring the fire. Very important. The fire.
Bring the fire.
As you know, I believe in the slogan, you throw gasoline on a fire. You know, a fire does not go on by itself. You have to throw wood on it. And if you really want this fire to last the evening, you have to throw accelerant on that fire. Not necessarily gasoline, maybe kerosene. And in a relationship, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking of love as a destination. So the destination is reached when they get a ring or when they get married. And then you get into the contented cow phase. You really have a responsibility, I believe, both of you, to throw gasoline on the fire, to be creative. And if you're in a situation where one person is the creative one, then you have a responsibility to let the other person be creative and to cooperate with their creative ideas.
I like that. My mind is going. I might create the gasoline program. If the word love gas wasn't like putrid in its own way, I would use that. So, but thank you. I totally agree with you. It doesn't work to keep throwing gasoline in that love fire. It's absolutely necessary. It's unfortunately, a healthy love life doesn't ever get lazy. You know, we get lazy for a day or 2 here. You know, it doesn't really hurt us. It's okay. But too many lazy days in the love department definitely does hurt our love life. You know. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Well, don't you think, can I just say something? Don't you think, let's use what you just said, the lazy relationship. Don't you think those things, a lazy relationship becomes is formed out of habit. Like, say, for instance, you were dating somebody, you know, like the first 6 months of most relationships are like really exciting and fun, and you know, and then you're getting to know the person, they're on their best behavior, and you know, they're just really like on their best behavior, right? So the real self has not come to the surface yet, right? We're still in the form of the cream, and we're all lapping it up, and it's wonderful. And then after 6 months, you're in tight, like it feels good, you're in tight. I think human beings get lazy. Like with anything, they get lazy. They get, you know, certain habits start to form, right? Or maybe they don't want to go out as much. You know, maybe okay, let me give you an example from my life, right? And I hope to God my ex-husband's not going to be watching this. But from my personal life, when I was married to my husband, when we first got together, it was great. We had so much fun. I mean, it was just so hot. I mean, we met and we were married in 4 months, and you know, and I would say over the years of being in the marriage and everything is really, really cool, you know, because when you meet somebody and you marry immediately, you've got all this time to really be together, right? And to develop and grow with each other. Now you're living with each other. It's great. But then over a period of time, what happened was he no longer wanted to do the things that he did for me that had him marry me, i.e. travel. We used to travel a lot, right? Get on the plane, go here, go there, right? And then after, at one point, you know, my mother emigrated to Jamaica, and I was like, holy moly, this is awesome. We can go to Jamaica quite regularly now, right? Because we have a place to stay. And he was like, no, I don't want to go, right? But before that happened, it was like, hey, do you want to go to Vegas? No. Do you want to go here? No. Do you want to go there? No. He just got like really complacent. So I don't think that in a relationship, people are automatically lazy. I think we become lazy with the things that we let them off the hook with, right? Like I let him off the. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
Go ahead.
No, so you know, I just put up with the fact that he didn't want to travel anymore, and I continued to do what I was doing. He liked to play chess. I didn't like to play chess, so he continued to do the things that made him happy, and I continued to do the things that made me happy. But what I think was missing, and I didn't have the capacity at the time, was to create things that we both liked together, because we were in the beginnings of the relationship where we did things. He likes this, so he's going to do it for me. I like this, so he likes that, so I'm going to do it for him. But what happened is, as we got closer in, those things kind of fell off, and we didn't create anything new.
Right. And I think the creation of something new for couples is very important. Yes. Because it sounds like what you were saying you guys were doing was the word I cannot stand in relationships, which is compromise. I don't like it.
Neither do I.
Because when somebody is compromising for their mate, that means there's one unhappy person, right? Let's say I love the tropics, he loves Switzerland.
Right.
So, you know, if he ends up going to the tropics, he's miserable. So right. What happens when we have one miserable entity out of two? That's half misery, right? And that's enough. 0.5 is enough to make it a full misery. So right. I don't ever believe in the compromise.
Right.
And I do think that this is a problem, and this is what I literally coach most of my clients into, is I think that unconscious love, the biggest problems, the biggest perpetrators of unconscious love are ignorance and laziness. Because all of us know how to be the perfect partner. We all do. That's how we get married, or that's how we stay in longevity. We all know how to be the perfect partner, but we allow ourselves to get lazy in the process. And truly, the only reason why relationships don't work, in my opinion, is out of ignorance. Some people really don't know what healthy love is. So that's an ignorant person in love, in my opinion, and they just need to figure that out. Whether they do it through their therapist, their family, through friends, through a church, through groups, whatever. They just need to figure that out. And the other one is really laziness, because we've all been guilty of that. And we all know how to be amazing partners. A lot of us have been married and are now divorced, and or have had amazing relationships. So we all know how to do it, but we allow ourselves to get lazy, which is, I think, what you're saying was the problem with your ex-husband.
Also,
Gabby,
I would say, sorry, I would
I was
say,
just going to ask Gabby if those were your 3 secrets.
No, actually, I did this Friday's topic at the Trump Towers. I called it The Secrets of Love because we were doing the show today. So to stay with the theme, I had to think about it. What the heck was The Secrets of Love? I often come up with the names that are great, and then I figure out what material of mine I'm going to bring into to teach under that label. So lately, my funnest thing to do is before I go lecture at the Trump Towers on Friday nights, is I do my writing on the train right before I go. Not very long, but by that time that happens, I've already spent the whole week thinking about it. So the writing of it comes quickly. So interestingly enough, what I came up with was 6 reasons that are the jewels of the secrets of love that I want to leave with everyone tonight. And the number 1 is identity. And identity means knowing who you are in love. Because without that, that's number 1, because without knowing who you are in your love life, you don't have a chance. You really need to identify yourself and know who you are and what are you bringing to the plate, and what kind of lover do you like to be. Are you a very supportive person? Are you not a supportive person and you need more of a supporter, right? Do you like to take care of your partner, or do you like to be taken care of? It's really important that you know your identity in love before anything else can commence. That is number 1. Number 2 I put is passion patterns. And passion patterns means knowing your own, but also knowing your lovers. So we have to become conscious of our own passion patterns and then our lovers' passion patterns. So what I mean by passion patterns is something as simple like, does your new hot button of the week or the month, does he or she text you in the morning? Or does he or she have such a busy work life they don't actually text you until 6 or 7 p.m. until they're done with their day, and then they can focus on their love life? And I call this a passion pattern because if we really see what our mates are doing, it's a neutral energy. We're not upset. We don't feel good about it. It just is. These are facts. Passion patterns are facts. Because then it helps me when I work with couples and let's say a passion pattern is somebody has a difficulty saying, I love you regularly. It's very difficult for them to say that. So when that man or woman complains 6 months down the road that they never hear I love you, I say, well, you didn't edit your choices properly, because that person never was doing that. That was not a passion pattern of them to begin with. So we don't really get to complain about things that we consciously took on. Otherwise, I say you should have been smarter and taken on another lover and be having different issues, or be happier in some departments or not happier in the other. I mean, I really take love and everyone's full responsibility. Anyone that's not happy in love, they need to look at themselves and see that they made a bad choice. They
Right.
didn't edit the choices accordingly from the start. They just weren't conscious lovers. And that's where I believe it really should start. So I don't really deal with complaints. So when we first start dating somebody, or if we're married to them, what are their passion patterns? Does he like to make you coffee every single morning when you get up? More than likely that will sustain throughout the entire marriage or throughout the entire relationship. Does he never go to your choral, show when you sing in public? Does he never go? He's probably never going to go. So passion patterns are very much a jewel and a secret into your love life that can really make you happy and more aware of what's going on, of who somebody is. The third one is personality types. You know, my passion in grad school is marital satisfaction and personality types. None of us are as unique as we think we are. There's 16 personality types. You know, the Myers-Briggs test is a big popular test in that. I personally like David Kiersey. He wrote a book called Please Understand Me Too, which is phenomenal. And it breaks down all of the 16 types. So pretty much what the science says and teaches us as psychologists is that every single one of us fits into one of 16 personality types. Get to know your type. Get to know who you are. It will help you explain that to your lover and get to know who your lover is, because it will help you understand what makes him or she function and act according, and try to cater to that. All of us really deep down, we want to be good lovers and we want to make our mates happy when we're in healthy loving, right? And so it absolutely is a benefit. Go online to kisapersonality.com or davidkiersey.com and take his Kiersey Sorter test. Find out your personality type and find out your lover's personality type. It will really, really assist the situation at all given times of any relationship. I find it that
Can I say something about? Can I say something?
Sure.
I'd like to say something. I think it's great that you say find out the personality type. You know, we live in a society where there's like information galore now because we have the net and we have all kinds of information, right?
Right.
Now, knowing yourself, I think, is critical. Knowing yourself is critical. Being able to share yourself and what you know about yourself is critical. Being able to say to a person, I like to be texted in the morning, right? And being comfortable with being able to articulate that to an individual is important. A lot of people can't say that.
Right.
A lot of people are not going to say that. They're going to feel like, especially a lot of women that I speak to, they feel that they're needy and they can't express that. Oh, I can't be putting, that's a burden, I can't put that on them. So they'd rather stay in the resentment of not feeding their souls and feeding the love that they want. So I think it's, it's all well and good. It's great that you have the personality types and that you have all these different formats that you can use, but the power comes in actually taking the necessary actions to have these things come through, right? Otherwise, it's great that I know what type I am, but what actions am I going to take to have it work for me?
Right, I agree, 100%.
It takes courage. It takes courage. It takes being able to be vulnerable. It takes being able to be true to yourself, right? And it takes being able to be committed to having the love that you say you want in your life. Those are huge steps for a lot of people. And many of us, as you probably know and I know, and I've experienced and you've experienced too, because we always teach what we need to learn for ourselves, is that we do a lot of this by default, right? So what you and I and Kuj are doing is to, like, educating ourselves as well as people to actually take action so that we don't live our lives based upon default.
Right. Yes, and it does take action. Love takes action. Healthy loving takes action. I absolutely agree with you 100% on that. It's definitely not enough to know all of these things. There has to be day-to-day action with your lover.
Yeah.
With your lover, not with me, not with your coach, or not with your matchmaker, or not with your friends or your family. No, with your lover.
Yeah, it's what actions are you going to take? Because knowing, look.
Right.
I look at like the obese rate in our country, right? It's massive. A lot of people know how to lose weight. There's so many different ways to lose weight, but none of us like we don't take the full actions. That's why there's an abuse rate. So we can say we want this profound love, but are we willing to take the actions? Because like I said before, oftentimes if the love becomes available, like we're so intimidated or afraid of really expressing ourselves that it could be standing 2 inches in your face. You're not going to jump for it. You're not going to take it on. So yeah, knowing doesn't make one difference. Is what actions are you willing to take?
Well,
I'm all about the action.
I agree with you 100%, because then it goes back to the laziness issue that I say is what was making most relationships fail in 2015 is ignorance or laziness.
And can we add some fear in there?
Yes.
Yeah, because fear of looking bad, fear of being rejected, fear of so much of that. Like I did an event this afternoon, and the prime topic was fear of taking steps. I know what I'm going to do, and I know I'm afraid. So it permeates up. Fear is something we're always going to have, but the difference is, are we going to let fear have us? Wow. And that it permeates our relationships. It upsets the flavor of life. We have to take, if it's not fearful, we're not feeling a little bit anxiety, a little bit of, anxiety or a little bit vulnerable, is it worth going for?
Right. No, I like this, but yes, I do think that it is worth going for if there's no fear, because I feel I've worked on my fear for about 20 years consciously, and I really don't have a lot of fears. I really don't. And so, but I don't feel like something is necessarily of higher value to me if there's fear-based. I just don't have a lot of fear in my psyche, period. I've been through a lot.
You're probably building the muscle around it. I welcome fear. It's an opportunity for me to jump in.
Noreen.
Yeah, I welcome it.
When I have it, I welcome it. I'm like, okay, this is something I have to conquer.
Yes, absolutely. This is a step I have to take. This is an opportunity for me to see something I never saw before.
Right.
Dr. Love, I want you, before the show ends, to give those final 3 points.
Okay. So the fourth one was attachment style. And this is because through my matchmaking work and through my love coaching work, I see that this can really be a problem for a lot of couples. There's 3 types of, all of us belong to one of 3 types of attachment styles, all based on our upbringing. There's a lot of psychological work from Bowlby and different psychologists that have worked on the attachment style names, which are secure attachment, avoidant attachment, or anxious attachment. We've all had that anxious lover who won't stop texting or calling you all day, just needy, they need you. I do have some good news for the anxious attachment people out there. The anxious attachment person, if they're matched with a secure person, the secure person will actually have a wonderful mate. The anxious attachment can be some of the most devoted lovers out there, committed partners. Avoidants are probably the hardest to ever change and the most difficult to try to have a relationship with. So when I matchmake, the worst thing I can do is put an avoidant with an anxious attachment style. We know what that is. He avoids, she pulls, he pulls. You get that craziness of needy, avoiding. So when I matchmake, I consciously try to put a secure person with either an anxious or an avoidant attachment. The secure people, luckily, are 80 to 85% of us Americans are secure attachment. Those are the people that are healthily married. Those are the people that have healthy relationships. The secure people really rule the relationship arena. So if you're anxious or if you're avoidant, make sure that you only date people that are secure attachment, because you will have a much better chance of actually having a healthy relationship. So attachment is very important, I've noticed in my work. The fifth one is sexual strategy. And I love this because the scientists are getting all hip and cool now, and they have an empirical study called the Sexy 7 measure. And it literally puts all of us into one of 8 categories of our sexual strategy, meaning a giver and a taker, per se, in the bedroom. You know, we all know the person that loves to receive oral sex and the person that prefers to give it and not receive it, right? That's a classic example of that. And this actually is not so important in the arena when you're going, but for longevity, it can happen, and people can actually kind of transform that for their partner through conscious loving if they choose to. So it's not as important, but sexual strategy type is important. And the last one, which is one of my favorite programs that I created, which is the Sexy, Fun, Loving, Joy program. And that to me is really the biggest secret of love. Keep the relationship sexy, fun, loving, and joyful at all times. None of us get to be even remotely lazy in this. You have a bad day, fine. You have 2 bad days, fine. No more other than that. You do not have a third bad day in love. You are bringing toxicity into the relationship, and truly the best gasoline, right? Courage is sexy, fun, loving, joy, energy for a relationship. People, that's why people get married, because they feel a sexy, fun, loving, joyful energy from somebody else. It's truly the key, the biggest secret to love. If you're not being sexy, fun, loving, joy, energy with your mate right now, get back on it. No more than 2 days of laziness in that department. It's truly toxic to all relationships. So that's the last one.
Yeah, I have a question for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that emotional intelligence seems to be more prevalent in females than males. Maybe I'm wrong. What is your opinion, and what is your suggestion that we do about it, if you agree with me?
All the men I work with would disagree with you right there. So that depends who you ask.
Yeah,
Noreen?
and I'm in the same thing, because I think that we all have emotional intelligence. I think that it's our capacity to exercise the emotional intelligence, if we feel secure enough in ourselves to actually exercise it. And we have to be willing to make mistakes. Yeah.
Well, back to you, Gabby.
So, Gabby, I wanted to ask you a quick question.
Oh.
You know, like, do you think that, um, you know, you talked about the attachment avoidant, and attachment avoidance and anxious types. Is that right?
Yes.
Don't you think that, oh, not don't you think, could it be possible that we have all of these traits at different times in our relationships?
Sure, absolutely, and different partners will bring out different parts of us.
Right.
So it's always best to find a partner that makes you feel secure. Like I said, secure attachment is the ruler of healthy loving. So it is pivotal to find a partner that makes you feel secure, right? Some men might make you feel more anxious, and some men might make you feel more avoidant, and some will make you feel more secure. So the key is to find the partner that makes you feel secure. You know, it's kind of like the partner that brings the best out in us, sort of. You know, I think that's important. If we're single and we are in the beneficial arena of dating, we can really make some wise choices with, you know, a little conscious effort. So find the person that makes you feel secure, and where they don't raise your anxiety or they don't make you want to avoid them.
So, okay, so this is where I have the feeling, right? I think that and I know, wouldn't it be wise to develop a sense of, this is the taking the actions, developing your sense of security, right? Because nobody can really allow you to feel any way, right? But if you develop your sense of security, and thus you can go into a relationship being secure and seeing if you maintain and like what you experience about yourself with this relationship.
Yes, I agree with that. That's in theory. That's ethereal and abstract. Yes, we should all work on feeling secure on ourselves. But the reality is that certain people are going to make us feel certain ways, and that we really don't have much control. Now, if you're conscious, you can work on feeling secure with somebody who makes you feel really anxious or avoidant. But I say, if you're dating, just get somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Assist you in your process. Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually on the same page then. Because I'm saying if I feel secure and I'm with somebody who causes me to, they cause me, I feel insecure or I feel anxious with that person, then my level of security that I am accustomed to being in, take it into consideration that I'm not fearful and I'm trying to kill off the relationship and my ego's kicking in, right? It would be really being straight with myself, checking in with myself and saying, is this relationship healthy for me? Does it feel the need that I am needing? Or is it causing me to feel anxious because something has literally happened or is happening that doesn't work for me?
Right. It's something that's in your cellular structure from when you were young. And it's more difficult to try to control. That's what I'm saying. Yes, with consciousness, we can control that, but it is very difficult because
but not. Do you think it's impossible? And it could also be an opportunity. It could be an opportunity to heal that has been in our psyche since birth, because it could have been something that,
Right. Yeah, because all of us, if we are anxious or avoidant, we all can become secure attachment. And it is what I urge people with every day to do whatever it takes for them to become secure attachment in love. Because when you're secure attachment in love, you have a much higher chance of having a healthy love life.
Right.
And we can
it starts over here with that person.
Right.
And it goes out into the world with whomever you choose.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both. You know, I'm glad we were able to have our show. I'm sad that Ron wasn't here with us tonight, but maybe another month. So thank you both for being here.
And thank you for having us.
Thank you. And everyone can watch the show always on all of the episodes at gabbylove.com. And next month, I'm really excited. I'll be in LA for a month seeing clients there. And so I'll be filming this from LA. And I have an LA workshop on November 8th with a dating coach named Erica Angelo. I'm very excited to work with her. And I'll have her on as the guest, and also Heather Dawn, who's also a health and lifestyle expert and a yoga teacher in LA, and Kim Caldwell, who is a feng shui designer in LA. And that will be the show next month. So I'll see you guys all on the last Sunday of next month at 9 p.m., 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Gabby.
And thank you, Gabby.
And much love to you.
And that's our show.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.